Hello and welcome to this week's assignment. This week we'll be continuing with equations, but instead of looking at distributive property, we'll look at collecting like terms. As for last week, most of you are doing exactly what you need to do. Keep in mind that you have 3 attempts to try the assignment. This week the problems will be a little bit less, as I suspect that they might be a little bit harder. So instead of having 10 questions, we are only going to do 6 questions for the assignment. So we're going to look at today's. And so the first thing that you want to look at when you're looking at this type of equation is you want to look at like terms. And like terms are things that have the same variable or the regular numbers. For example, this x and this 6x. Those are like terms because they both have x. One thing you want to be careful about is don't forget that there is a 1 in front of that x. And so when we combine, it means to add. So 1x plus 6x becomes 7x. Minus 2 comes down, and it's still equal to negative 9. Now you're down to a 2-step problem, which we did about 2 weeks ago. So the first thing you want to do is you want to do plus 2 on both sides of the equal sign. And so what happens is the 7x will come down. These will cancel out. And then negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. You're always welcome to use Desmos, but I just wanted you to know that you can do this in your head. So the next thing that you're going to do, which is the last step, is divide both sides by 7 so you can get the x alone. These cancel out, and you're left with x is equal to negative 7 divided by 7 is negative 1. Again, when you go to enter your answer into Canvas, the only thing you will enter is negative 1. For number 2, again, we have variables that are the same. So we're going to take this 6p and this p and we're going to add them together. Remember that there's a 1 in front of the p when there's not a number there. So 7 plus 1, or 6 plus 1 is 7, and the p comes with it. It's equal to negative 7. Again, we're going to divide both sides by 7, and we get p is equal to negative 1. Now, I know the first 2 problems were very similar to each other. That's not always the case. Take, for example, problem number 3. In this case, we have 5p, and then some of you might think, well, we just have p and we're going to add those together. But there's a subtraction sign. That means negative when you're combining like terms. So you got 5p plus negative p, which is just going to simply be 4p. Another way to look at it is you could technically subtract them, which is equal to negative 16. Divide both sides by 4, and you get p is equal to negative 4. Again, you're more than welcome to use Desmos if you would like, but you don't have to. For problem number 4, again, we have a subtraction sign here in the middle. So it's really going to be positive 2 plus negative 5, or 2 minus 5, which is going to give us negative 3, and the a comes along. It's equal to 9. We're going to divide both sides by negative 3. And we get a is equal to, a positive divided by a negative is negative. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So our answer is negative 3. You again would just enter in negative 3 into Canvas. Looking at problem number 5, so we got negative 2x plus 3x. If we do that, we're going to get 1x is equal to 0. Technically, you're done. You don't have to do anything else here because we assume that there's always a 1 in front of that. So we could simply write x is equal into 0, which is the same thing as saying 1x is equal to 0. And then you would just enter in 0 as your answer. There's no need to divide by 1. because 1 divided by 1 is just going to simply be 1. Number 6, this time our variables aren't the same, but our regular numbers are. We got -6 plus -8, and it's going to come out to be -14. Bring the k down, is equal to -7. Add 14 to both sides. K drops down. These cancel out. -7 plus 14 is +7. Again, you would just enter 7 into the answer key. Again, there are only going to be 6 problems for each assignment. So the first assignment will be these 6. The second assignment will be these 6. And the third assignment will be these 6.